My name is Daniel. I was not born lucky. I was not born rich. In fact, I was born in one of the most forgotten corners of the city. My childhood was a mixture of hunger, silence, and unanswered questions. I remember my mother's tired eyes. She worked at a laundry shop, washing clothes for people who never even looked at her face. My father left us when I was 10, and after that, survival became harder. I grew up quickly, because there was no other option. Childhood was not mine to enjoy, was stolen by poverty. By the time I turned 21, I had nothing. No house, no money, no job. Just a broken suitcase that carried 2 shirts, 1 pair of trousers, and a notebook filled with my dreams. That notebook was my treasure. Nights on the street, slept on cold benches, under broken roofs, sometimes on the ground itself. The city lights above me felt like stars mocking my darkness. People walked past me as if I was invisible. I could hear their footsteps, smell the food they carried, and sometimes my empty stomach growled so loudly that even strangers stared. I would whisper to myself, "Daniel, don't give up. Don't let hunger kill your spirit. One day you will change this story." But words are easy. Life is not. There were nights when rain poured, soaking me completely. I had no blanket, no shelter. I wrapped myself in cardboard, shivering, watching rich men drive by in shiny cars. I thought, why them? Why not me? A dream inside of in misery. A small flame lived inside me. I wanted to build something. I didn't know what, but I wanted a life where I would not be stepped on, where my voice mattered, where my mother's eyes would finally shine with pride. I remembered her last words before she passed away. "Daniel, life will crush you if you let it, but if you stay standing, life will respect you." Those words became my lifeline. Searching for work every morning, I walked into offices, shops, restaurants begging for work. Most rejected me without even listening. Some laughed at my worn-out clothes. One manager once told me, "Son, you look like you need help yourself. We can't have someone like you here scaring customers." Those words cut deep, but I smiled and walked away. Finally, I got a job cleaning tables in a small cafe. The pay was little, but at least it was something. Every night after cleaning, I sat at the back corner with my notebook, writing my ideas, sketching my dreams, believing one day I'd break free. Failure after failure, I tried many small ventures. I sold pens on the roadside. I washed cars. I even tried to start a shoe-shining corner. But each time, something went wrong. Customers didn't come. Police chased us street vendors, and sometimes I was robbed. It was exhausting. My hands ached, my feet burned, and my mind screamed to quit. One night, sitting alone, I looked at the city skyline and whispered, "Is this all life has for me? Endless struggle, endless hunger." But then, deep inside, a voice answered, "No, Daniel, this is just the beginning. Keep trying." Meeting a stranger one cold evening, I was sitting outside the cafe after work, too tired to move. A man in a gray suit walked past, then turned back. He looked at me and asked, "Why are you sitting here so late?" I hesitated but told him my truth: no home, no family, only a dream. He listened quietly. His eyes didn't carry pity. They carried curiosity. He said softly, "If you believe in your dream, don't let it die here on the street. Protect it." Before leaving, he handed me a book. "Read this. Maybe it will help you see differently." That book changed my nights. It was about persistence, discipline, and the power of never giving up. The Turning Point Part 1, Ending days passed, and I worked harder than ever. I saved every coin, every scrap. I began to teach myself skills, reading, writing better, learning how businesses worked. I failed, stumbled, but kept going. I was still poor, still homeless, still invisible to the world, but inside, something was changing. Every night, I whispered to myself, "Daniel, this pain is temporary. Your dream is waiting. And though my stomach was empty, my heart was full of hope. This was just the beginning of my fight. The night was cold, but inside me there was fire. A fire to fight, to stand, to prove that I was not born only to suffer. I still remember one morning when I looked at myself in a cracked mirror at the cafe's restroom. My hair was messy, my clothes torn, but in my eyes I saw something new: determination. I whispered to my reflection, "Daniel, you will not die poor. You will not end your life as a shadow. You will rise." The internship one afternoon, while delivering coffee to customers, I overheard two men talking about a company that offered free training for new employees. It was in finance, a world I knew nothing about. But I thought, what do I have to lose? The next day, I went to the company. The building was tall, shining with glass windows. I felt small, like an ant. People in suits walked quickly, their shoes clicking on the marble floor. I stood there in my old clothes, holding my worn-out notebook. When I entered the office, the receptionist looked at me with doubt. "Are you sure you are in the right place?" she asked. I smiled nervously. "Yes, ma'am. I want to apply for the training." She gave me forms. I filled them with shaking hands. I was afraid they would laugh at me. But instead, after a short interview, they said, "You can join the program, but remember it is unpaid. Only one person will get a job at the end." My heart raced. This was my chance. Maybe my only chance. Double life. The training was tough. Numbers, graphs, endless phone calls. Everyone else looked smart, educated, confident. I felt like a stranger, but I worked harder than anyone. In the day, I studied and practiced. At night, I cleaned tables at the cafe. Sometimes I only slept 2 hours. Often, I ran from the office straight to the shelter before it closed. If I was late, I slept on the street again. My shoes had holes. My stomach was empty, but my heart was full of fire. Every night, I whispered to my notebook, "One day, I will tell this story not from the street, but from my own home." The breaking point: one evening, after the training session, I was so tired that I collapsed in the park. My body refused to move. My mind screamed, "Stop, Daniel. You can't do this anymore." Tears rolled down my cheeks. I thought of giving up. At that moment, I heard laughter. Children were playing nearby, chasing each other. Their joy reminded me of my own childhood stolen by poverty. I clenched my fists. "No," I whispered. "I will not surrender. I will fight for the child I once was, and for the future child I will raise." I stood up, weak but determined, and went back to work. Small victories. Slowly, things began to change. My managers noticed my effort. "Daniel, you are the first to come and the last to leave," one said. I learned to solve problems faster. I learned to talk to clients politely, even when they rejected me. I learned discipline. One day, I made my first small deal. It was nothing big, but for me, it was proof. Proof that I could survive in this world. That night, I celebrated with a piece of bread and tea at the shelter. It felt like a feast. The final test after months of training. The company announced, "Tomorrow, we will choose one person for the job." That night, I couldn't sleep. My heart beat like a drum. I prayed silently. "God, I have nothing. If I lose this, I have nowhere to go. Please, give me this chance." The next day, I sat in the manager's office. My hands shook. I was ready to hear the worst. The manager looked at me, smiled, and said, "Daniel, we would like to offer you the position." For a moment, time stopped. Tears filled my eyes. I whispered, "Thank you. Thank you so much." I walked out of the office into the sunlight. The city looked different. The same streets that once laughed at me now seemed to welcome me. A new beginning. I bought a small room with my first salary. It wasn't much, but it was mine. No more shelters. No more cold benches. I had a key, a door, a place to call home. I phoned the cafe owner who once gave me work. "Thank you for everything," I said. He replied, "I knew you would rise one day, Daniel." With time, I bought better clothes, better shoes, and even a small desk where I placed my old notebook. That notebook, full of dreams, was my reminder of the nights I almost gave up. The lesson years passed. I grew in the company. I became successful. People respected me, but I never forgot the hungry nights, the rejections, the rain on my skin when I had no shelter. One evening walking in the park, a boy came to me. His clothes were dirty, his face pale. He looked at me with the same eyes I once had. "Sir, do you have any advice for me?" he asked. I bent down, placed my hand on his shoulder, and said, "Never give up. The world will try to break you. People will laugh at you. But if you keep walking, keep fighting, keep dreaming, one day, life will bow to your courage." Closing words, friends. This is my story. From the cold streets to a warm home. From empty pockets to dreams fulfilled. From nobody to somebody. The lesson is simple. Life is hard. But if you don't give up, happiness will come. So, whenever you feel tired, whenever the world says no, remember my story. Remember Daniel, and tell yourself, my story is not over yet. My success is waiting.